So I'm gonna go, I kind of have an order to some things. So I'm
That's
gonna
fine.
go to registrations just to show you how easy it is to set up a registration. So we have to work through in setting up a registration. These various tabs all have pieces of information that are important to setting up a registration. This general tab is just kind of an overview of what's the name of the registration, what kind of participant type are we setting this up for, the season, the program or division, and then the opening date for the registration and the closing date. We've got some display options here. You know, do you want to automatically put it on the welcome page? Yes, I do. And then what would be the display dates for that? Here's the welcome message that you could custom create what you want the very beginning of the registration to say to that person that's starting the registration process. And then you can also tailor what you want the confirmation message to be when they finish. You can send them to the home page when they're done, or you could take them to a different page. Maybe there's a specific football program page that you want them to go read after they finish the registration. We can set that up easily. One thing I did want to note here is we have this, I love this clone button. So after, it usually takes us 10 to 15 minutes to set up a registration for the very first time, to walk through all these tabs of information. But once you have one in place that you really like, you can clone it. So as an example, if we set up 2020 for you, we can come in and clone 2020 and basically save as for 2021. And then we just need to come in and change a couple of these, like these date fields on when the registration would open and close. And we can create a new registration in just a couple of minutes rather than 15. Okay. So it makes it super easy on the second one. The second tab here is fields. So these are the 45 data fields that come out of the box. And again, you can use as many or as few of these as you want on your custom registration form. And basically what you have to do is make choices for each field. Is it an optional field? Is it a mandatory required field? Or if you don't want it on the form, just make it do not show. And so you can turn this from 45 data fields down to 20, you know, whatever makes sense for your sport, you can include that. Again, super easy to set up the registration form and collect the pieces of data that are relevant and important for your football program. Second is setting up fees. Do you guys charge different fees based on the different levels? You know, freshman, JV, varsity, or your middle schoolers?
So I don't think so, but I'm not positive.
Okay. If you did, we can support that. We can basically just create different levels with different fee structures, and then they would have that click down box like I showed you for summer. She picked the elite volleyball program versus the recreational volleyball program. So by putting multiple line items here, it basically creates a drop-down list for you on what you would pick for the registration. You can, I really like this feature. If someone owes you money from a past season, by clicking this box, it'll actually bring that old balance due into this registration and help you collect those past monies due. So it kind of simplifies your collections tasks.
Okay.
We offer early bird discounts. You can set a dollar amount or a percentage and have the deadline for when that early bird discount would expire. We also offer the ability to configure penalties for someone coming in late. So you can set either a dollar amount or a percentage and when that penalty, late penalty, would kick in. And you can use those or not use them. It's your choice.
Okay.
We also offer, for families that have multiple kids that want to enroll, you can set up discounts for multiple kids in a family. And you can have those be a flat discount for each kid, or Maybe you offer more discounts for each additional kid. It's very configurable. And again, super easy to do. You just put either the dollar amount or the percentage is into this box and set it, and you're good. We talked briefly about vouchers and coupons when we were going through that registration for summer. Mm-hmm. And we offer a voucher, which is a one-time only, great for something like a scholarship. You know, for families that otherwise couldn't participate without getting some scholarship assistance, you can offer them a scholarship. And you don't have to use our funky codes. You can actually type something in that makes more sense to you. And you could give them, you know, some kind of discount. Again, either a dollar amount or a percentage basis. And you can have that voucher apply as a flat amount if they were registering, say, 2 or 3 kids in a family, or you could actually offer it as a $25 discount per child that's registering through. So that's your choice. Another area that we have is coupons, which are reusable. And a common area where we see this is for organizations that have a lot of volunteer coaches. As a way to thank their coaches, they give them a discount for their child to participate in the program as well. And then you can just set up the coupon once and send an email out to all your coaches to let them know what the code is, and then they can use it on their registrations. Again, those are optional for you. They're available if you want to take advantage of that feature or not. The next area is processing or convenience fee. Because we're doing online payments, there's a merchant bank involved, there's credit card processing fees. They're in kind of the high 2s to low 3s rate. And really there's 2 schools of thoughts on this, right? You can charge them through to your customer and actually be very transparent that there's an additional $3 or 3.25% fee on top of the $75 registration fee. You can actually make that fee be whatever you want. If your percentage was 3, you could make it 3.5 and mark it up and make profit on it, or you could have it be 2.5%, just subsidize part of it. It's your choice. Or the other school of thought is, I'm just gonna build that into my registration fee and it's a cost of doing business and I'm not gonna pass that through. It's your choice and we can support how you'd like to manage that. The last area for fees is how you want people to pay. And we provide 4 different options. The first one is you want to collect the entire amount during the registration upfront. The second is they can make like a down payment, $25 on the 75, and they'll pay the $50 later. We do have a mini accounts receivable and mini invoicing system that's built in. So we make it easy for you to send out an invoice to those families that have a balance due and request payment. The third option is you can actually set up a payment plan. Some of those, some programs we do are quite expensive. That elite competitive travel volleyball program that Summer was in was $750. And that would be a tough monthly, pay that all up front. That would be tough. So we have this payment plan option where you could set up, hey, it's going to be $250 a month over 3 months, or it could be over 4 months or over 5 months. And we really allow you to set up how many months it would go, the payment plan would be over, what you want the amounts to be, what days of the specific days of the month or week you want to collect that money. To give you lots of flexibility in setting up flexible payment plans. The fourth item in how you can set up payments is a subscription model, kind of like a gym membership. Hey, it's $30 a month, and we're going to charge you $30 a month until you cancel the subscription. And we've got some clubs that have like a fitness or a skills clinics that they put on in addition to the regular competitive leagues. And so they actually set those up as subscriptions separate from the normal team-based registration. So again, 4 different ways to actually set up how you can pay. Lots of flexibility, but simple and easy to configure it. The agreements tab is next. And again, here we are back to the text box, same text box. This is where you would copy and paste in your liability waiver information, your code of conduct information, and then put a label on the checkbox for what you want that to say. So we can incorporate. Again, you can choose to use this or not use it. It's your choice. Rules. We have some very large clubs with like 3,000 plus members coming through a registration, and they need some additional automation to help move registrations into the right division to make rostering easier. And so we have a whole Boolean logic, basically if then else. So like you could do something like if a participant had a birth date within a certain range, then when that trigger is met, we want to move them into this particular division because this division handles the age group. And you can do it in different ways. You can do it by grade. So I think some of your football programs are oriented by grade.
Yes.
So that's possible. Although your counts, what's the total count of athletes in your program?
I don't know exactly. I'm going to say roughly 120 to 150.
Yeah. Okay. So rules really kicks in and is powerful when you've got thousands. When it's in hundreds, it's probably easier just to do the rostering from the programs menu, just to be honest with you.
Okay.
Equipment. This is where you can actually select out of your equipment catalog which items are appropriate for a registration. So and you can set that up here. I'm going to actually jump into the equipment catalog here. This last tab is not a super important tab there. But that's, these first 6 tabs are how you would set up a registration. Again, it takes about 10-15 minutes to go through and set all that information up to create it. And then after that, you have the ability to clone them. And it only takes a couple of minutes to set up a registration. Equipment catalog is something that is, a lot of teams do that to get the right fit kits for all the athletes. And this is where you actually would set up an item. Again, it's all menu driven. What's the name of the item? You can upload a picture to represent what the item is. You can set up whether it is included at no charge or whether it's an optional charge, and then the default quantities. If it's included at no cost, you probably are just giving them 1. If it's an optional item, a lot of times I had with soccer, families wanted to buy an extra set of socks because the kid always lost one. So you might set the default quantity. You wouldn't set the default quantity. You could let them choose how many they actually wanted to buy. And then you can set sizing that's appropriate for your particular age groups. The nice thing, let's discard creating that one. We also, once all those items come through on the registrations, we actually have a complete inventory that comes through. So it's very easy to see for all the items that were ordered. It gives you a breakdown by size for everything that was ordered so that you can work with your uniform provider to put in your master order. So you'll know exactly how many of each size you need to order, as well as reporting on which athlete ordered which size so that you know how to fulfill distribution once the master order comes in.
Okay.
The last area that might be of interest for you is our Equipment assignment. This is probably a feature that our football teams love. A lot of the teams own the helmet and the shoulder pads, and they assign them to the player for the season. And we actually have a whole subsystem here to help track all of those assignments for checkout at the beginning of the season and then check in at the end of the season. So you don't have to manage all this stuff in a spreadsheet on the side. And if you find a piece of equipment lying around, it's really easy to come in and do a search on it to understand which player that piece of equipment actually belongs to for the season.
Okay.
So that was a quick overview on registrations.